Hello everyone, this is Jonathan from Resaleworld Technical Support, and this is a video on how to add a prepaid buy. So what is a prepaid buy? Prepaid buys allow you to either pay a client in cash or give non-payable store credit for a batch of inventory you do not have time to input right away. This system allows you to keep track of prepaid buys across multiple accounts no matter where they are in the process. So first we have to activate prepaid buys. So if we click on the setup menu option at the very top, we can then click on options, sign in, and then we're going to go to buy trade options on the side menu. So I'm going to click on that buy trade options, and we're going to turn on or check mark the enable prepaid buys box. So I'll click OK on this. Now I'm going to show you where all the prepaid buys are tracked. So if we go to File and then Inventory Drop-Offs, prepaid buys are tracked with our inventory drop-off, just like where consignment inventory drop-offs are. So now there's two ways to create a prepaid buy. We can go into Inventory Drop-Offs and click Add By Trade, or we can go to Account List, open up the account that we want to do the buy trade for, and then we can click Buy Trade over to the left in the side menu. From here, we're greeted with the Buy Trade Maintenance window. So what we're going to do is we're going to click the New button at the very top to indicate that we're going to make a new buy trade. All prepaid buys start out with a status of open. The amount is how much we're going to give the purchase customer for the items that they're dropping off with us. So for this amount, we'll type in $150. The item count is how many items the purchase customer is dropping off. So we'll do 5 items. Next, we can say we're going to take cash or trade. If we select cash, we're either going to cut the purchase customer a check, or we're going to take the money out of the cash drawer to pay them out. Trade gives us the option to offer non-payable store credit that can only be used in the store. For this example, I'm going to go ahead and select cash. The note field allows us to indicate additional information that we may need to recall later. For instance, maybe this purchase customer brought the clothing in a fabric bag that they would like to have back. So I'm going to put in all right. So now I'm going to go ahead and click OK. At this point, it's going to allow us to print out a drop-off receipt. So I'm going to click yes on this. This can be sent to your receipt printer, but for the purposes of this example, I'm going to go ahead and have it print out to a PDF so I can show you what that page looks like. And here's our prepaid buy drop-off receipt. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out. And we're going to resume our process here. So we've just added the prepaid buy. We're going to go back and continue with that process. So I'm going to click on File, Inventory Drop-Offs. I refresh, and now we're going to see the prepaid buy that we created. So you'll see some key information, what the cost of the total prepaid buy is, the number of items we received, and the number of items we've added for this prepaid buy, which we haven't really done yet. So now that we've already accepted the items, I can go ahead and create the payout for this prepaid buy. So now I'm going to go ahead and click on the prepaid once and click process. And we're going to create our payment. So we'll click on the payment button to the right here. And it's going to ask you, are you sure you want to create the $150 payout for this buy trade? We're going to click yes. Now the important thing to note is the moment that I click yes, the obligation or the funds for this item will go into the purchase customer's account. So now I can select whether I want to pay check or cash. I'm going to select check, and I'm going to click OK. So at this point, the total amount that I have owed for this customer is going to show up. I can select the check number, so maybe this will be 1012. I can select the printer that I'd like this to go to, and by default, it should go to your check printer. This is an example, so I'm just going to have it send to the Microsoft Print to PDF printer here. You can select your check type, or even if you want to post payouts without printing the checks, I'll just go ahead and click OK on this. So I'm not going to save that check. Normally it would just print out. I'm just going to hit cancel on this. And it's going to say, did the payout print correctly? And if it did, you can click OK. Cancel will allow you to reprint the check at a later date, or if you need to, there was a problem with the check, you can reprint it. So I'm going to click OK. So now you'll notice that the pay status is paid, and that's pretty much it on the purchase customer side. Later on, when I have the time, I can add these items into the account so that I can now sell them through the POS. So I'm going to close this out to replicate that we're done. I'll close out inventory drop-offs, and then at a later time, we'll go back in, we'll go to File, Inventory Drop-offs. We'll select the prepaid buys that's still open, and then we're going to click either Add Items or Process. So I'm going to go to Process just to show you the whole thing. Now that we are in process, we can click on the prepaid buy here, and we can click Add Items. So now we're taken to the quick item entry screen, which I have enabled on my system, but you can disable this so that you can enter it in the old-fashioned way. So I'm going to click on men's apparel. I'm just going to add a bunch of items in here to make up the 5 that we have. And then for the rest of this, I'll go ahead and speed it up so that way it's a little bit faster. So once we're done adding all of our inventory, if we click this Exit button, it's going to ask us, would you like to process this inventory now? So I'm going to go ahead and click Yes. At this point, you'll be taken to the inventory drop-off screen, and the prepaid buy will be closed, so we can no longer see it. If I wanted to see the prepaid buy again, I would drop down my status, and I can see all the closed prepaid buys or inventory drop-offs that I've done. So I'm going to click Closed, and here's that cash prepaid buy that I did. So now I can easily see that we received 5 from the purchase customer, and I've already added 5 items to show that this has already been added to the account, and they're ready to sell. So a couple of things I wanted to show you too is if we go to the account list and we open up John Doe's account, you're going to see the 5 items that we've added. I'm going to refresh real quick. The 5 items we've added will show as purple to show that they are purchased items and they're processed as purchased. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the cost and how it handles costs spread out across all those items that I've entered in. So if we scroll over to the right, I've entered in 5 items. We'll notice that the cost is split between all the items based on the price. So I did enter in 1 item at 0 price to show off how this would work. It did enter in the cost at 0. The $150 cost that I put in for the prepaid buy on all 5 items was spread across appropriately on all the other items based on the price. Moving on, if we go to the Transactions tab, we can see that the item buy that we put in today is in there for $150. It's got an associated payout number for when we paid out this purchase customer. And if we go to the Payouts tab and refresh, we're going to see the check that we wrote minus any adjustments that were made to the account. And we can see that at the bottom what exactly happened to make the amount on the check. This was a video on how to create a prepaid buy